Like, this guy checked in. Like, we got stuck on the strip for 3 days. This guy checked in every day. And I was with my son, Dominic, on this trip. That was his first real road trip. And also, son, we almost died. So, yeah,
but
man.
that was a life experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, you guys went through that. You didn't know what you could do, but, you know, thank God I was up at that time. I was just doing something, and then all of a sudden, I see your message. I'm like, oh, man, this guy's in trouble. He's like, if you see this, call me back.
Yeah.
And then, as soon as I saw the pictures, I was like, I got to at least guide you through what I can do. And luckily, you know,
luckily I 40 kilometers an hour for 300 miles. Or no, was it 300 kilometers? Yeah. It was like 180 miles to Vegas from where I was. And all I could do was drive no more than like 30 kilometers an hour in the furthest right lane. And I drove this thing in, and just when I got to Vegas, I thought everything was going to be okay. I sideswiped the fucking, you know, like when you go to a parking, you know when you go to parking and they have like you put the money in and the thing comes up, it comes back down? I fucking took out the whole thing. The box, the machine, the arm. Jesus, I couldn't believe it. Dominic's like, Daddy! And I'm like, oh, now I can't fix this. And then I remember these two valets come running out. And the one guy was, I think, Mexican, and he was Mexican. And he was just like, orderly, man. He's like, what are you doing? Oh, you fucked up that thing, eh? And the black guy, he was with the black guy, and he's like, shit, dog, it's all good, man. I got that shit covered, bro. And I'm like, what? He goes, man, don't sweat it, dog. And next thing you know, the dude climbs up this pole and turns the security camera away from what's going on. The Latino dude grabs the bar, puts it back on. He's like, yeah, this thing is strong. He starts to shoulder butt it back into the pole, like into the machine. And then the machine was all tilted, and he just rams the machine. Him and the brother start pulling it, and they straight it all out. He's like, shit, you good, dog? I'm like, what? He goes, man, roll it through. I'm like, what? Roll it through. I'm like, okay. And Dominic's like, Daddy, are we good? I'm like, dude, we're good. And Dominic's like, way. So then these guys, this Latino dude and his brother, they're like, hey, man, peace. Next morning, the hotel calls me in my room for an hour until I answer. Are you driving a 5-ton moving truck, white, with no bird plates on it? Yeah, he goes, you need to come down to this parking lot right now. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, we need to see you right now, Mr. LaBelle. And I'm like, okay. I get down there. Fucking FBI is down there with hotel security, MGM head security, and a state trooper. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And Dominic's like, we didn't do anything. Quiet. Guy comes up to me, and he's just like, you want to tell me what happened here? And I tell him the story, and I tell him about the leaf spring and the vehicle, and it just didn't work. And he's like, that's fine. He goes, but tell me about the two valets that helped you out. And I'm like, well, I was like a Latino dude and a brother. They came through and they kind of fixed everything up. Sorry, I don't want to get them in trouble. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Dominic's like, yeah, they didn't help at all. They just watched. They did their job. They walked away. And like, Dominic, that's awesome, because Dominic was going to snitch, right? And but he thought I was snitching on him. And Dominic's like, no, we don't snitch, bro. Yeah. So Dominic's like, yeah, nobody helped us. And that was the end of it. Ended up being the two guys who helped us. Remember I told you? Were escaped convicts dressed as valets that were actually waiting for the next vehicle to carjack and get the fuck out of Nevada. Yeah. Instead, they see this dad and son, the kid's crying, and knock the thing over. They're like, shit, he gave up our cover. So they actually went and fixed shit so they can wait in the bushes again for the right vehicle to come through. So endless to say, we never had to be, so they basically said, because of us doing what we did, we caused the commotion, which then sent like the dogs out. They found them, captured them, and then they let us go. The thing that we hit was 20 grand US. And they let us go because of our patronage, like because of it. I didn't hit it, they wouldn't have caught the guys. And they told us that insurance would cover it anyway. Don't stress. Gave us 2 extra nights at the Excalibur Casino, if you want to stay there. And they took care of tickets to events and dinners. And they told Dominic, like, here's a pass to the MGM to be at the pool for the day. Story about the story about like the scare. True story. How crazy is that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that far deep.
Yeah, well, it was a deep situation. So, yeah, those valets that helped us out ended up being escaped convicts. So.
Wow.
Yeah.